state of Georgia. Okay, got it. For two alternative schools in the state of Georgia, and I'm also the national director for the NAEA, that is the National Alternative Education Association, Region 4. My region consists of 9 states, mostly in the Southwestern District. So um, I'm running right now a 18 school cohort on exemplary practices. And those schools are throughout the United States, of course, and that we are working with them to give them better quality, better program evaluation, and just overall better standards for what they're doing. So I want to share some of those things with you in regards to what we're doing with them. I'll go through, I've kind of categorized the exemplary practices in a way that it'll give it in sections. So I have 5 different sections, and I'll put those things in place as we walk through it. First of all, I want to talk about modeling the way for exemplary practices. One of the things that is very, very important is being able to show what you're doing to your staff. But it's not just the leaders' values that are important, because leaders aren't just representing themselves. They actually speak and act on behalf of a much larger group and a much larger group of people. And so when we're talking about modeling the way, everybody says it starts from the top down. And that's true in a sense. But when you're talking about a whole organization, it starts from the top down, because that's where the instruction comes. But modeling the way, it's everybody. It's everyone that's involved in what we're doing. It's everyone that's involved in how we do it. And we have to have that mindset to have a real inspiration on how we can, continue to be successful with the way we're doing things. And so modeling the way will always start, of course, with the number one person. But to be effective, that model has to be throughout everyone. And I want to make this a note, even if by some chance, the person that started this doesn't finish it, or for some way lose their way and not modeling it as they should, because we do run into those types of situations. That's why it's important for everyone to be modeling the way. That's why it's important for everyone to know the vision and mission. We never lose sight of the vision and mission. Even when other people lose sight of the vision and mission, we don't. And when I say we, I mean everybody. And that helps, because if you have more than a couple people that do not lose sight of the vision and mission, you will always have people that are on target, and you will always have people that are making sure others are keeping on target or keeping on pace. And so when we talk about vision and mission, working in an alternative education setting, of course, I have to be a little bit more broader on what that vision and mission includes, because of the type of kids we have. But I do want to say, in the past 2 years, alternative education has not looked any different from traditional education. And so they both have merged in a sense that the vision and mission statement has to be the same. And that has been to make sure our kids are safe. And when I say safe, now I'm opening up a big can of worms here, because that's safe in mental health, that's safe in the building, that's safe at home, that's been safe on the internet with virtual learning, and which has been a terror. I'm just gonna virtual learning for us has caused us nightmares, because we've been trying to keep that part of it. And that's hard to keep that part of it safe when we can't monitor what's going on at home. And so we kind of tailor something. That's when the vision and mission doesn't change per se, but we tweak it a little bit to add in things as we go along. And so high expectations for academic achievement, that's going to always be a statement, because that's one of those catchphrases that everybody likes to hear. However, obtaining high expectation for academic achievement will look different for everyone. It has to. No one school, or actually no 3 schools, can operate on that same premise, because we always talk about the kids being different, the climate being different. It's just not possible for the vision and mission statements to fit. It's not a one size fit all. It needs to fit your environment. And you need to have a couple of things that are concrete, but then there should be some things that are specific to your school and what you're going through and how you guys operate on a day-to-day basis for that vision and mission. Also, it is really cool for the vision and mission statement to be known by everyone, not just staff and stakeholders. You know, students need to know what the vision and mission are. Students need to can kind of, when I say gravitate, I mean own some of the vision and mission statement. There's no rule that says the vision and mission statement, you know, has to be a certain, a certain length. These are just key points that I have. If you go on the NAEA website, you'll see that this vision and mission statement, I'm only giving you six, maybe 4 or 5 points, but the vision and mission statement on our website at NAEA, NAEA.org has about maybe 12 or 15 vision and mission statements. And that was, as a national organization, we were trying to encompass everything we could think of that would be that we could identify, or at least attempt to have our a lot of schools across the country identify. And so when we're talking about individual schools, there should be something in your vision and mission statement that the kids identify with, that they can own and they can see value in it. And so when we're modeling the way, of course, we're talking about leadership and what leadership needs to look like. Everybody in the building is a decision maker, regardless of what you're doing. And we're all making decisions every day, whether you're making decisions in the classroom or at an administrative level. And I would even say this, your head custodian makes decisions. Everybody makes decisions, and we're all decision makers, and how those decisions are being made does speak to the leadership. It speaks to how the leadership is handled. If you have a leader, that is sarcastic and just not a very nice or friendly or welcoming person, you'll have other leaders in the building that, for some reason or another, it doesn't take over their personality, but you may see characteristics of like that. So when you're talking about leadership, you want to make sure that everybody is held accountable to everyone else. And that makes for a good organization, makes for a good culture. Exactly, because you want kids to come to you. You want them to not be afraid of leadership. You want them to feel comfortable expressing themselves and talking about the things that are important to them. Why? Because you want to promote program success, but program success is predicated on how well the kids are doing. How well, say kids, the students, how well our students are doing and how well they are succeeding. And so a collaborative approach will always get us where we want to go. A collaborative approach will always get us in a direction that will right the ship. Not saying that the ship is tilted. So when we're doing collaborative approaches and we're working with each other, everybody respects everybody's ability to bring something to the table because of the level of expertise. I have, a teacher that has been teaching 5 years, as well as one has been teaching for 25 years. I need that expertise. I need the foundational things that teaching was built on for the past 25 years, that this individual brings me experience. But I also need that young teacher with that just got out with 5 years under her belt with the things that I am not up on. As you can see, I am so confident that if I had just graduated college a week ago, I would have been able to navigate this whole technology thing that we would have gotten started about 20 minutes ago. I'm confident in that. But because I realized that I am outdated on some things, that I am not as relevant as I thought I was, I had to learn something new today. And so in my leadership,
Hayden,
yes.
I'm sorry, it just seemed like an appropriate moment, but we're only seeing like the title slide of your presentation. I don't know if you're sharing your screen stopped, or if it's or frozen or something. Can you?
Okay. See what wait, is this? That's not it. Okay. Okay. Give me a sec. How do I? Okay, okay, that arrow is not what I wanted. Okay. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna mute myself and I'm gonna fix this.
Okay. You know, I guess, Dr. Hayden, in the interest of time, if you want to just advance with your presentation without the slideshow will be available after the presentation through the website. So somebody can print that out and view it later. As long as you can still speak about your topic, I think that we would like to hear what you have to say.
Hey, thank you. I'll go with that. Okay, because where am I? Okay, so we're still talking about modeling the way. Okay. Okay, so the next part is climate and culture, which is extremely important because climate and culture will definitely tell you where you are when you're modeling the way. You'll see that in just, not putting too much into making sure that our kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing, because most of them won't, some of them won't. That's just the law of averages. You have a certain amount of kids and you have a certain amount of kids who just don't want to do the right thing, but it doesn't necessarily speak to what we're doing. And so when we're talking about caring and safe and orderly climate and promotes relationships, I will always say that will always be the biggest thing to me. And that's just a personal thing for me. Building relationships will always be a big thing for me. So when we're trying to get kids not to do something, or we're trying to redirect them into something else, having that relationship with them from the beginning, or having some type of relationship with them, will allow us to turn them a different way, or get them to think about something, or second guess what they may or may not be doing in that moment. And it gives us an opportunity, definitely to get to know them, definitely to have an opportunity to not just understand what they're doing, but understand why they're doing. I think that one of the main things is understanding why they're doing it. Talking to someone about why they're doing something definitely opens the door for conversation. And to have that conversation helps us to establish clear expectations for the learning and the conduct. We do have, who reads the handbook? After about 10 years, of working in the how we work, we kind of know the handbook already. And so, yeah, it may sound crazy, but who reads the handbook? I'm telling you, I'll be honest, I don't read the handbook all the time, because it's, of course, I write the handbook every time we do the go from year to year, because just for the fact of my position at the school. But the students don't read the handbook. We're the handbook. You know, what we do, our mouth, what we're talking, how we're saying, we're actually the handbook. They just sign the back of it to say they received it, but we're actually the handbook on every, on every turn and how we go. So, okay, we got something else going. I think I finally got it.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So, while we're, oh man, I can't.
Well, I think we might have lost his audio connection. I am so sorry. The Luck of the Irish is not with us today.
No, hey, I'm here.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yay!
Okay. So
Awesome.
I have it on my computer
Okay.
now. So I'm just trying to figure. Why is this? Okay. So can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So we're talking about the climate and control. So the staff actively models and rewards appropriate student behavior, of course, but that's based on your relationship with the kid. That's based on, what you know about them, and definitely how you've grown to know them, whatever system you're working in, whether it's elementary, middle, or high. You're definitely working on building that relationship and allowing that relationship to grow. And it's going to continue to grow because you're growing, they're growing, you guys are growing together. And so we're always practicing fostering healthy communities by that are implemented at the school. Most of our kids, are fostering healthy communities by what they do at the school. They don't always take things from their home. They bring their things from home. That's the first thing. Every kid brings their things from home. Whatever they got going on at home, yeah, we're going to get. However, we have the opportunity to change that or give them a reason to believe that what they know or what they found out at home is not going to be appropriate here. And that helps change the culture and the climate because it changes their attitudes. It changes how they think about things. And so the second part of that, after you model the way, we want to inspire a shared vision. And how do we inspire a shared vision? I can tell you staffing and professional development helps inspire the shared vision. That's actually where that comes from. It's like, okay, well, how do we, how does that feel to, make sense? Because when we're doing our professional development, we're all learning something new. And what I love about professional development is that I can teach the same thing. We can go over the same things, but I want at least 3 or 4 people to get something different from that professional development so that we can talk about the various different ways that we could do something different, that we can talk about the different ways that we can, present it or show it or teach it. We're always trying to find, different ways on what that can look like. And we actually want to know what that looks like, and how it can look moving forward. What are the most effective ways? And so staffing development, inspiring a vision starts with the way we learn and how we want to foster it, how we want to look at it, how it can be looked at from our standpoint and what that needs to look like, because that helps on every single angle. Professional development is key. And I don't see professional development so much as, as it being more for the teachers just to learn something different. I see professional development as being able to take what I just saw or what someone just presented and seeing how I can give that back to the students and more likely to my building. So instructional and curriculum and instruction. Instructional practices and curriculum, are rigorous and inclusive. they support the need in language and individualized to meet the needs of the students, which is what the definition of curriculum instruction is. However, I want more involvement from, in curriculum instruction for my students. And I get that, definitely I get that by being with them, by talking with them, by understanding, knowing how they learn. They have learning styles, and their learning styles are just as important as ours. Their learning styles are hopefully complementary to what we're teaching them and how we're teaching it. So with that being said, we do get a lot from them. We want to get from them as much as we possibly can. And so by allowing ourselves to learn different things, to get involved with various different opportunities, then we get what we need from them on a daily basis. And being a part of that, I know we talk a lot about and we say a lot about our students being a part of the curriculum and instruction, but we really have to, are they really a part of it? Do we really make it known that they are a part of their own learning process? Because we have so much to do. We have so many things to get done on a daily basis. And so having that part of it taken care of, yeah, we can get bogged down a lot of times. We forget about asking them about, how they want, what's the best for them or how they think they can learn. But it's no sweat off our back to ask. I think that's one of the questions that I have on the board that I ask the teachers, like, put on the board sometimes, how do you want to learn? How do you best learn? If it was your way, how would the things that I say or the things that I give you, be productive for you? I know we have we still have a lot of e-learning going on. I know some schools are still giving packets. Some places are doing in-person instruction with a hybrid model of having some kids online and some kids in the classroom. And knowing how that's affecting them on a day-to-day basis will definitely help us, come to terms or come up with a better situation when we're talking about the curriculum part. That doesn't change, but the instruction can. And how the instruction changes based on the kids that you have can be golden. Student assessments, that's the other part in this shared vision. Student assessments are, of course, the measurables, taking tests, finding out how they're doing, their mastery and those types of different things. But student assessments are extremely important when, once again, I'm incorporating the students in this because we're talking about exemplary practices, and we want that all this ties into the culture and climate, how comfortable students feel with doing things on a day-to-day basis. That things change every day, all the time. What a kid thinks and how he feels he can learn one way one day may not be the same the next day or the next week or the next month. And having that ability to talk about those types of things definitely helps. We have our rigor. We have a certain way of doing things, and we do not have to deviate outside that way of doing things as much as we have the flexibility of making sure that what we're doing is accessible to everyone. I know everything's not fair, but everything can be equitable. So the third phase of this is change the process. Okay, when you're doing exemplary practices, there are a couple of things that are involved. Well, I'm sorry, challenge the process, not change. Challenge the process. Challenge the process. In exemplary practices, there are things within those practices that you can challenge based on, I would say, based on what you teach or how you teach or what administrative duty that you have or don't have, or who's over this club, that organization, who's lead teacher for this or that or whatever. And so when you start challenging the process, the first thing that comes along with challenging the process is transition planning and support. You can challenge that process because not everybody transitions the same way. Not everybody wants to transition the same way. We can't have a cookie cutter way of transitioning and support because everybody won't be involved in that. And there will be some students that are being left out. The big transition plans are college and career readiness. Those are the big transition plans. And that plan can be challenged because not everybody wants to go to college, and not everybody doesn't really understand their career readiness.
We tend to come up with things that we think kids will like, which is no fault of our own, because that's what we're supposed to do, give them options. But I tend to find out that not everybody wants to be a beautician or a barber or a welder or plumber or CDL driver. And there's a multiple things that go along with career readiness. And then not everybody's ready to go to college right at that time. Not everybody is gung-ho about it either, because there's a lot of anxiety that comes along with going to college or starting a career at 17 or 18. There's a lot of anxiety that comes along with that, because this is just a different time. This is just a different phase in life. And our kids have gone through a lot over the past 2.5 years. And I don't see that changing in the sense of how they look at things, but how things can be presented to them can definitely be challenged. And so transition planning and support can definitely be challenged on any level for anything when you're trying to reintegrate. Well, it won't be a reintegration. It'll be integration into the real world, as we call it, or integration into a society that they can feel comfortable in, so that they can know that they can be successful. And that success is not 10 or 20 years away. They can find success by being comfortable in the decisions that they make. And I think that giving them the option or the opportunity to make the decision that they're comfortable with, that they can fit, so they feel that they can thrive in it, definitely helps moving forward. And so family engagement can be challenged. Family engagement can be challenged. Why? Because, we have family engagement opportunities. We have things that to engage the family, but not all families engage. And those are the ones that we really want, the ones that don't engage. And so when I say we can challenge that process, we can challenge the way that process looks. We can challenge the way that process moves forward. We can challenge the way, families think about what we're trying to do, what we want to do, and how that can look for them. Because at the end of all families, and everybody wants to know the value in what you're doing. Why are you calling me, Dr. Hayden, today? Are you calling me because my son or daughter is great? Are you calling me because they're down the road? Or are you calling me because there is an issue? They want to know the value in what the call is about. They want to know why you're calling. And then they start to actually form their own idea of who we are. I'm not the same way at home as I am at school. And I'm not the same way at school as I am with my family, on vacation or on a holiday. So, we challenge that process by deciding how much or how less we'll give of ourselves to let this family know that we're really just trying to engage them, to see that, little Johnny or Joan is doing well, and we want them to move forward and be successful. And so we can challenge the process of how we engage families, because families are different. Okay, I'm gonna venture out into this water. I'm swimming out into the deep end. We are not the nuclear family from the 50s anymore. We have families look different, okay, from all different sizes and shades of what that family unit looks like. And it's been that way for the past, I'm gonna say 10 to 15 years. Families have looked different, and they have modeled that difference in our movies, in our television, in our commercials, and just about everything in society. And the kids see this, our kids see this, and the families see that. And so families want to know, are you going to engage them based on what their dynamics looks like? That's a question we haven't answered yet. And that's why we can challenge that process to make sure that we are incorporating things that helps engage all families, no matter what they may look like. And collaboration. We can challenge the process in collaboration. We really can. We can challenge the process with collaboration, partnerships with the community, business and groups, open communication. We can have defined goals, and shared responsibility is what I really like in regards to collaboration in this particular exemplary practice. Shared responsibility is huge. having the sharing that responsibility with one another and giving everybody the opportunity to, to have a voice. That's huge. Collaboration is about communication. It's actually all about communication. If we don't have communication, we don't have collaboration. And so we don't understand what each other's shared responsibility can be. Because I want the shared responsibility. Okay, well, first, I like to do hands-on. I'm a hands-on person. I learn hands-on. I learn auditorily, okay, and I learn visually. So I want to, you know, when you're talking about shared responsibility, I want to be in a group with, you know, with people that may have the same value system as I have, but definitely we learn the same way. But I have to have some people in that group that don't learn the same way as I do, because now we know how and who can do what. And we want to make sure that we're giving those individuals the best way to be successful as a group. So when we share responsibility, you know, we definitely want to be in a situation where this particular exemplary practice is shared amongst a group of people that all have, or some similarities, a different skill set. When we have different skill sets, that's when we maximize our learning for what we want to do and how we want to do it. That's when we maximize our creativity, because that is a lost subject amongst us as well, being creative and creating opportunities to be creative, you know, and listening to one another. Because I love being in groups where I do not think like the person next to me. And it gives me an opportunity to be creative or venture out in something that I haven't done. But the success of that collaboration is pertinent to the organization and the culture and climate of what we're doing. And so program evaluation is a part of that change in the process, because we can change how we evaluate our program. Okay, now student data, student achievement data, the parent surveys, okay, program implementation rating, all of those things are great for, you know, to make the school look good, because that's what everybody wants to see. However, real program evaluation really does come from how does kids see it and how the staff sees it. You know, how do we see the program? You know, you have your seniors, your juniors, if you're in high school, you know, your middle schoolers, 7th grade, 8th grade, even your elementary school kids, whatever facet of education that you're on, we really program evaluate and see how the program is running by those that are in it every day. And so the ones who are most in it, well, the students. The ones who are most in it with the students are the staff. You know, and I'll tell you, I asked the cafeteria workers how the program's running. I asked the custodians how the program is running. I asked people that come in, you know, that work with the staff and students, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, our community partners, how the program is running, because that's where I'm going to get a real sense of what the program is doing and how it's moving forward, because data will show me or give me a direction, and will always give me an academic direction. But if I'm gonna take an academic approach to everything, then I need to know the climate. I need to know how everybody's feeling about that approach, because as it's been said, students don't want to learn from people they don't like. Well, people don't learn from other people that they don't think have a vision. School counseling would be next, and every school has a counselor, and there's one person or maybe 2 or 3, depending on how big your school is. You have a designated counselors, you have a designated counseling department or counseling staff, but however many teachers you have in that building is how many counselors you have in that building. Counseling is not limited to just, you know, 3 or 4 people. Counseling is everything, because our students don't necessarily go to one person all the time. They go to anyone who will listen. And if you're that person who will listen, and I'm sorry, I can only see 3 people on my screen. I can see Stacy, Tina, and Tammy. Those are the 3 faces I can see on my screen. And I can tell you, Stacy, Tina, and Tammy, you all have students that come to you, that talk to you, that don't talk to anybody else. say that Dr. Hayden is somebody that's good to talk to, they'll talk to. Tina says that Dr. Hayden is a good person and he can help you with the your situation, they'll talk to me. But you guys are a bridge, and that has everything to do with counseling, that has everything to do with connection, that has everything to do with our kids learning more and more, not just about themselves, but they can start trusting adults to know that I can get what I need from other adults. I can take this, I can take this out into the world. And the one thing about counseling that amazes me, we ushered through in a 3-year period, 600 or 700 kids. And how many of those kids actually come back to us and say thank you? Maybe one or two, maybe one or two. So what we say is important, how we say is important. And because I was able to build a relationship with this particular teacher that told me it's okay to talk, or it's okay to open up. When I get out into the world, I might not ever see Miss Tammy again, ever. But because I had that relationship with her 20 years ago, I'm able to go to a counselor. I'm able to go to a mental health therapist. I'm able to go to someone that can help me. And those are the things that are important. The things we will never see, we have to trust that those things are important. And that's predicated on how we articulate things, how we instruct things, how we can be creative with things. Because believe me, whatever kid that talks to you, that kid talks to at least 6 or 7 other people to let them know that this is where I got that information from. It was very useful. They helped me out. And even though they may not ever come to us, that information is still being passed on. And that's real school counseling. So I'll go into number 4, which is enable others to act. And how do we enable others to act with our practices? Well, school social work enables others to act. They have I know that everybody, my school has a school social worker on the building, on the grounds all the time. I know not everybody has that, but we do have school social workers, but they're the ones that are enabled to act on behalf or advocate on behalf of our kids. And social work is a good exemplary practice. It just keeps us honest about what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're making sure that we have a fail-safe. We're making sure our kids are safe. We're making sure we're reporting things that need to be reported, because we are mandated to do that. And we can look back on that at the end of the year, or at the end of the semester or quarter, or however someone would choose to do that, to make sure that we're getting the right things, getting the right information out there, and helping the kids that have come to us that need help, getting them to talk about the things that they need to talk about. Because we have a lot of students right now that are hiding things, that are not talking about things, that are trying to fit in, and it's just not working for some of them. And so having that open door, or having that school social work piece in your school, will always give us the best way to do things. Okay, so encourage. It would be the last option that I would talk about. It's and I said enable others to act, which would be through social work, and encourage the heart. That's the 5th and final thing. And underneath, I have policies and procedures. And you asked me, Dr. Hayden, why is encourage the heart under why is policy and procedures under encourage the heart? Because policy and procedures are what drive the school. There should be policies and procedures that directly speak to not just the concrete stuff. Don't do this, don't do that. Policy and procedures should speak to what's going on in our community right now, in our little world right now. There should be policies and procedures that are specific to what this particular school does and how we do it. There was a couple of years back, of course, I'm working with the policy and procedure manual, and it looks like everybody else's policy and procedure manual. And as the year went on, I started to write things down that were specific to our school and what we needed to address based on the type of kids that were entering my school, and what those policies and procedures needed to look like. They needed to be user-friendly. They needed to have some things in there that kids could identify, not with just don't do this, don't do that. don't sit there, go over here, you can't wear this, you got to wear that. And those things are concrete, but there were some things that I noticed, and we must have added maybe 10 or 15 things in the policy and procedure manual that spoke to the challenges that we faced at our school. And so it looked different, and it should look different, because I know every school, and I'm in the school, I'm at, I guess I'm at an okay level somewhat or whatever. And I know most people, it's easy to copy and paste the policy and procedure manual over the summer and just be done with it and get over with it and say, okay, I've done that, put that to the back. But if we really want to drill down our policy and procedures and our exemplary practice, because everything we do connects to the culture and climate of the school. They feel comfortable with the culture and climate of the school based on the policy and procedures and how they're laid out and how they are introduced to the kids as well. Another thing, personalized education plan. I know I'm not talking about IEPs, okay, even though that's a part of it. And when you talk about exemplary practices, everybody has that. It's federal mandated, yada, yada, yada. That's great. Personalized education plans, a little bit more in depth, would just actually, this is kids basically saying, hey, this is my plan. I thought that gaming was not a plan. I really did, until I found out how much kids make at gaming. And I was like, wow, that actually looks like a plan, but I wouldn't know that if I wouldn't ask, and when you say in education plan, whatever level whatever it is that you're doing with your counselor or educator, having a personal, having kids understand that their plan has value. Every kid's plan has value, and that's all they want to know. And when you measure this, you'll measure this and it'll come out in your culture and climate. Or actually, because we have an actual exemplary practice for personalized education plan, we when we're talking with schools and working with schools, we actually have them put that in there and have a survey with the kids to say, look, do you have one, and what does it look like? And for those students, it actually started as a pilot with maybe I think we started off with 4 or 5 classrooms, to have a personalized education plan for each kid to say, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to get there. So it was easy to remind them of their personal. Stop. Can I say PEP? Because I'm right at this point, I need some water. I don't have any with me, so I'm just going to shorten that up. The PEP for our kids, the personalized education plan. It's really just about getting involved with the students and having them a part of their own success and their own future. Not that anything else doesn't, but when they know and they put it on paper for what they want to do and how they want to do it, it just works out better. So I can't believe throughout all that we went through, I still got through that in a timely manner. So I'll leave it right there. Is any wait a minute. You can still hear me. So does anybody have any questions that I could take right now? I want to thank you all for sticking with me. I do apologize again for the delay, but I appreciate that. If you want to put something in the chat box, I can read it out and say it, or if you have any questions. But I will make sure, Ms. Stacy, if you let me know where to send this PowerPoint, I will make sure that you have it and that you can send it out to everybody that wants it. So you can see the slides, because I'm assuming that you guys never saw the slides I was going through, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Except for the title slide. So.
Okay. Great.
But yes, I will let you know to send that. I'll send you the email address. You may already have Patrick's email address, and you could just send it to him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we do have a question. Do you plan to speak or present at the NAEO conference in the fall? Tammy would like to know that.
Tammy, I am the regional director. So I'll speak, the cohort that we have, I'll have a speaking engagement with the cohort. If you want to be a part of that, just to be a fly on the wall, let me know and I can bring you in, or I'll give you opportunity to come in, because we'll talk about all these things I just went over. The cohort group that I have right now, we'll be going over all of these things at the conference. So I guess I don't really see that as me speaking, but I guess I am I guess I am presenting it. Yeah.
Great. Any other questions, comments?
Do you prefer that we post our comments in the thread there, or do you just go ahead and ask?
Oh, you can post them in the thread.
Okay.
If you want to just go ahead, Tammy, and unmute if you have more comments or questions. You're already unmuted. Go ahead.
So, yeah, I'm really interested in this practice. I'm on the board for the Michigan Alternative Education Organization, and I feel like there is not a lot of connection to the national level in Michigan. And I'm just trying to hear this information and think of ways that we can bring it back to the Michigan level. Of course, today is one way of doing that, but do you have any ideas for other ways in which we can kind of share this message and strengthen alternative schools throughout the whole nation?
Okay, so we do have your regional director is Mark Hill.
Yeah, Mike Hill out of Kalamazoo. Yep.
Okay, so I work with Mark on just about everything in regards to alternative education and how we can get that message out. So what we're working on right now is just for those alternative schools that definitely reach out to the regional directors. They send those resources because he has national resources. I have national resources, and we really connect because I can connect you with resources anywhere in the country in my area that I know have good exemplary practices, or those that are doing trainings, where we feel like we have a couple of schools that are needing SEL training and things like that. So we definitely link them up to those resources, like I said, all across the country. So you get good information about things that are happening elsewhere, not just within your state, so that you have a more of a wide variety of things that you can gravitate to.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's really good.
Okay,
I
Stacy, I just sent my PowerPoint to, did you get it?
I don't know if I've got it.
I sent it to Mace Outreach I sent it to the email address that.
Okay. I'm sure it's there. My system won't let me check my email while I'm hosting the Zoom without ending the meeting, apparently.
Oh, okay.
That's a new one on me, but again, we're learning every day, right? I think this was a great presentation, lots of information. I think what I really appreciate the most about it, Dr. Hayden, is that it kind of formalizes the attitude or the beliefs of many, many, many people that I've encountered in alternative and adult education. We do that kind of stuff anyway, just because it seems to be kind of in our nature. But this is just giving us a model or a framework to kind of formalize that into practice in our programs, and maybe strengthen it and expand it. So I think it was a wonderful presentation in spite of the technology glitches, right? Like whatever, that's just today life,
Right.
Yes, but thank you so much for
You're
your
welcome.
presentation. And I believe we are running into the break time here, but I would like to thank everyone for joining us, and I wish you all well and have a wonderful experience for the rest of the day. I'm going to go scoot and sing my pirate song in the play now. So thank you all for the compliments that I got on my costume. And I guess we will see you all in the next session.
Wow.
Well, I won't. I'll be on stage, but this afternoon. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you again.
Thank you.